I think there is this misnomer often that for devotees, for all of us, things should be very smooth. Why? Because of course we are paying the interest of devotion to God, and with that interest, everything should be taken care of by God. But we forget the fact that all the great devotees have always had very tough lives, because a lotus always blossoms in the mud. A boat floats on water which has the capacity to drown, but it has to float on the water if it wants to reach on the other side. It is the nature of the wood with which the boat is made, or the nature of the leaf or the petals with which the lotus is made, that helps them survive. And what is that nature? The lotus leaf does not let the drop of water to stay on it. You look at it, you take a lotus leaf and try to put water on that, it will never let that happen. Similarly, the boat also, the wood does not drown inside the water. What does the boatman do? In a very focused way ensures that that water does not enter into the boat. It is the nature of both of these that helps them stay afloat. I think that's the same for true spiritual aspirants. They have to ensure, we all have to ensure that our inner core is strengthened despite the negativities or difficulties outside. Why overseas? In India too, the environment is not very conducive. Materialism has become rampant, and with more wealth comes more desires. With more desires come more accumulation. With more accumulation come more problems. And that is very evident even in India, and it's equal in the developed countries as well. So all sadhana has to be done to help us strengthen this inner core. And that's why the scriptures and Swami repeatedly place the examples before us of the great dichotomies that the Pandavas faced, or Mirabai faced, or Annamacharya faced, or Kabir Das faced, or Bhadrachalam Ramadas faced. Some of the foremost devotees of God, we cannot even have a fraction of their devotion, but still they had to go through so much, because that is the dichotomy that exists in the world, and that is why spiritual aspirants need to strengthen. Another aspect of values at home and outside, spiritual values are universal. We need to understand that. Truth, right conduct, peace, love, non-violence, these are similar irrespective of any country or continent. So we need to appreciate their role and their importance over the apparent religious differences that we see outside. That is a first and very important thing. But for appreciating their importance and their context in these diverse situations, we need to understand their practice in all contexts. How can truth be practiced in all contexts? How can we train our children for having a right conduct, or being peaceful, or being loving? If we do not help them appreciate the context, they will subjectively interpret these values and practice them. And what is the solution for that? For that, we need to place before them the lives of great heroes and heroines of our scriptures, of our epics, and even of contemporary times, who were able to practice these values in very, very difficult situations, so that they will be able to appreciate the universality of these values and their practice. The value of truth, the value of non-violence, the value of dharma, what it was practiced in Mahabharata or Ramayana, or during the times of Jesus or Guru Nanak, and how it can be practiced now. While the context may have changed, but the core value or the importance or of relevance of that has not changed. Lot of stories across all religions should be told so that children are able to appreciate the context, but also during the time they spend at home. Documentaries, movies, books on the lives of these great individuals and how they practiced lives despite all diversities and difficulties will be a great resource for children. These will be the values and stories that will be embedded in their memory, and that will come back to them when they are facing those difficulties. And the example of a Yudhishthira, or an example of an Abraham Lincoln, or of a Nelson Mandela, or of a Swami Vivekananda, or of an Abdul Kalam will come before their eyes and say that, yes, this is what these great people did. This is what I too can do. So while the context may be different, the content is the same.